Shot, 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 shot. Ooh, that's real full. Oh yeah. Well, happy St. Patrick's Day to all my Irish friends out there. I am not Irish and I don't really own green, but I do drink Irish whiskey and I very much enjoy it. And this is my favorite. This is the Jameson Caskmates Stout Edition. You know, I could have just made this my entire drink for the video, but it's super warm out today. It's like 70 degrees. Spring has sprung here in New York City and it just feels a little bit heavy to be slugging back Irish whiskey, but cheers. Now that I took my shot, I will be switching over to a delightful Sauvignon Blanc. This is actually the Oyster Bay Sauvignon Blanc, which is these are actually like legitimately two alcoholic beverages that are my go-tos. So when I want a white wine, this is generally what I get. It's like Cloudy Bay, but half the price and still super delish. I am stoked about this video because this is a collab with my very good friend, Sarah of Better Off Red. I've been wanting to do another tag video that really gets into like the minutia and the ins and outs of being a YouTuber, of being a content creator. I actually did a video like that several years ago called the Truthful YouTuber Tag, which was fantastic. And I had so much fun doing that. I literally feel like I'm 10 years older now. Like I feel elderly. Like so much time has gone by and there's been so much stress. So Sarah and I decided to actually create our own tag with brand new questions, really getting in the weeds. I'm really excited about the questions we chose. So thank you to Sarah for doing this collab with me. This is the Content Creator Confessions tag. If you don't subscribe to her channel, if you've never heard of Better Off Red, you're missing out. Should we do some chins? Should we do the whole thing like this?
I was a chunk-a-lunk.
I was definitely in the show choir. I was also in the symphonic choir. I was in drama club. I was in all, yeah, I was that person.
He doesn't look like that anymore.
Okay, I had no idea.
Gaze upon the field in which I grow my fucks and ye shall see that it is barren.
What's your go-to pig out food? You literally stole mine, but okay, it's fine. Good job! She has blown the hell up with true crime. Her series is called Crew Trime. If you like true crime, you should watch it. If you like makeup, you should watch it. She's so good at it, like truly so good at storytelling. She puts on a full face of makeup while she tells these, you know, pretty grisly tales. And it takes a pretty specific person to be able to tell those stories and tell them well and respectfully and also be entertaining. But she doesn't only do that. She also does like your good old makeup content, skincare content. And she's also a fantastic FX makeup artist. Like the shit she does when Halloween rolls around is bananas. I just gave you literally so many reasons to go subscribe to her channel if you haven't. So I'm going to link her channel down below in the description box, as well as her video all about what we're going to talk about today. The reason we decided to go with content creator instead of YouTube in the tag title is because we really wanted to open this up to not just YouTubers, like, you know, people who are on Instagram or TikTok. I mean, let's be honest, it's a weird ass thing to do. It's really fucking weird. The things that pop up, the conflicts, the struggles are very specific. And the thing about being a content creator is that, well, actually, I'm sure there are books on it now. So I can't say no one wrote a book on it because I'm sure they have at this point. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's a really new thing. I just hope that this is informational and interesting. And okay, I'm going to stop yammering. Let's get rolling. Question number 1. How do you feel about the term influencer, and do you feel you are one? Yeah, I'm one. I'm an influencer, like 100%. Do I love telling people that's what I do, and is that the word that I choose to tell them? No. You know, I usually say I'm a beauty YouTuber or I have a YouTube channel. Even that can feel a little bit weird because people are like, oh, some people are awesome about it. Some people are like, oh my God, that's the best thing ever. And some people are like, oh, I mean, at the end of the day, that is what we're doing. We're influencing people. I don't know that I set out to do that, to like, I'm going to influence the masses, because that sounds really douchey. And, you know, I feel like there's so many different kinds of influencers, right? Like, You have Kim K. You got Kim Kardashian over here telling you to, you know, get your ass up and fucking work. And then you got, you know, someone like me who's like a super micro influencer. And apparently even people who have like 100K subscribers on YouTube are still considered a micro influencer, which still like blows my mind, but everything's relative. I think because of those huge influencers like the Kardashians, like Jaclyn Hill, like, I mean, fill in the blank, so many people, that's what people think of when they think of influencer, but it really has changed. I think that people assume that influencers are that status, that like they have, you know, millions of subscribers and they're millionaires, and, you know, that's just not the case, obviously. I'm trying to remember, actually, I think Randy, my boyfriend, he posted something on Facebook, and it was about, you know, Kim Kardashian and what she said recently. And I was reading the thread, and there were a couple people on there who were like hating on influencers, hating. And I was like, do they know your girlfriend's an influencer? Because wow. It gets a bad rap. I feel like influencer gets a bad rap because it just isn't, it doesn't like do, for me at least for what I do, it doesn't really do it justice. I'm not just an influencer. I set out to just like want to share the things I love with other people. You know, I want a creative outlet. I'm also a performer in life, so it just made a lot of sense for me. And I just wish we could find another word besides influencer. I'm gonna find my way around it for as long as I can, because I will not lead with that in a conversation with someone I do not know. I'm just gonna tell you right now. Anyway, moving on to question number 2, which is, how did you decide to become a content creator? Well, as I said, I am a performer. I have been a performer all my life. I am a singer and an actor, and most of what I've done has been theatrical. I live in New York City. That's why I moved to New York City 16 years ago now. Is that it? I'm still a performer. I'm still all of those things, but I really fell into this because it's kind of like a weird story. Basically, I would make these long form videos when I was like away, not even when I was away doing a gig, but especially if I was away doing a show. You know, I would have like a handful of really, really close friends, and we would like basically make these videos for each other, and it would take like a million years to upload. Like I would upload it to Google and it would take like 2 hours, and I'd send like this 30-minute video to my friend, basically just like talking about what's happening in my life, ranting, kind of getting tipsy, drinking wine. And we had the time of our lives doing that. Honestly, it was so great. Now we have Marco Polo, which if you haven't tried Marco Polo is one of the best apps ever. And I credit that for why I have kept so many of my relationships going in the pandemic. But yeah, that's what we used to do, you know, back in the olden days. So it was one of my friends who was actually doing that with, and he was like, you know, you're really good at this. Like, I really look forward to getting your videos, and I kind of watch them like a show. I wish you could do that. And I was like, well, what does that mean? Like, you mean just me like bitching with wine for people? And he's like, I mean, yeah. And I was like, I mean, yeah, that'd be awesome. How do I do that? And then of course I was like, well, that's not a thing. So I just let it go. And then another one of my friends, Carly, this was when we were back working at Lululemon in retail, and we were miserable. And she's beautiful and fantastic at makeup, and we just had very similar stories. You know, she's an incredible, talented performer, also trying to hack it in the city, also trying to find something that makes her happy, because honestly, the lifestyle of an actor is, again, miserable. And so we were just trying to figure out like how we could not work retail and how we could you know, do something that we had more control of. So we actually ended up, you know, kind of like going into makeup freelance at the same time. And I did makeup artistry for a couple of years here in New York City, and it was great. Anyway, the point is that she was like, I really feel like you should have a YouTube channel. I'll never forget it. We were sitting on my bed over here, probably having like brie, like melted brie and crackers and wine. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I don't watch YouTube. I didn't watch beauty YouTube. I totally lived under a YouTube rock. One day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this. I'm just gonna put my phone up here, and I'm gonna talk about like my 10 favorite products, and I'm gonna make a channel and make up a name and throw it up there. That's really the story. It really wasn't this like grand strategic thing. It was kind of like, oh, let's see how this goes. And then I really enjoyed it, and I started to get traction, and I was like, okay, well, like, this is perfect, because I've hated so many of my jobs in New York City, like my survival jobs, the jobs you have, you know, trying to pay your rent and trying to pay your bills so that you can go to auditions. It was terrible. It was terrible. And now this is what I do full time. This is my job. I still can't believe it sometimes. I'm still like, what is this life? I feel like I'm in orbit. So question number 3 is, what's your experience with knowing other creators in life, good or bad? Well, first of all, I'm gonna answer this question myself, but get excited, because in a second, we're gonna have Better Off Red come on here and have a little cameo so you can see what she's all about. I have barely anything negative to say in regard to this question. I have met some of my favorite people through YouTube, and I kind of love that, because I think that, you know, especially beauty YouTube, I feel like a lot of people think there's a lot of cattiness in this community, and there is. I just don't really experience that myself. I have met some of my best friends now on YouTube. Better Off Red, case in point. And I actually know her because of Michelle Wong, who has also become one of my absolute best friends. So I've met really good people. I've been really, really lucky. The fact of the matter is, not everyone is how they appear to be on their channels. You'd like to assume that, but you know, you never know. And it is in fact a magnification of yourself. Like, as I'm standing here filming this, I can say, my therapist actually said this, and I'm giving her a round of applause once again, because I think it's so dead on. This is a performance of yourself. It just is. And a lot of people think that, oh, if you're saying it's a performance of yourself, that you're not genuine or you're acting or whatever, which I can't get down with at all, because I'm a performer, and just because I'm performing doesn't mean that I'm not genuine and it's not meaningful. So I feel like that's a little bit of a confusing point that a lot of people aren't quite getting right. But, you know, you'd like to think that the person you're watching, that you feel like you're hanging out with, right, is pretty similar to how they are in life. I have had the pleasure of realizing that that's mostly the case with the people I know, but you never know. And now I'm gonna hand it over to a Better Off Red, and she's gonna tell you exactly what she thinks about that.
So my experience has been pretty much only good. I don't, you know, live in LA, you know, and I don't live in an area where there's a lot of other people that are doing YouTube-y type things, but there's a few, and I do maintain some pretty close relationships and friendships with other content creators, people here on the tubes doing the YouTube-y things. Everyone that I've met has been cool and nice. And they are exactly in person the way that they are online. You know what I mean? It's not like somebody's nice and friendly and sweet online and then a monster in person. It's not like that at all. And in fact, one of the very first people that I ever met in person, actually it's the very first person that I ever met in person was Cate. From Cate the Great Beauty.
I mean, there are a lot of wow, I'm getting drunk already, really. Anyway.
Meeting online personalities in real life can be a roll of the dice, but I've been very, very, very lucky. Cate the Great, Michelle Wong, Glitter Fallout, Jamie French, peachy gems of people.
Thank you, Sarah, for that response. Again, isn't she a vision? Go subscribe. Number 4, do you accept sponsorships, and how do you feel about them? Whoa, if this wasn't one of the questions we were all waiting for, I don't know what is. Take a big old sip of wine for this one. I think that if there's any stigma associated with sponsorships, or, you know, you're side-eyeing a creator who took a sponsorship, I feel like that has more to do with maybe the choice of the person you're watching, and maybe just like a misunderstanding of sponsorships in general. If you're watching someone you trust, if you've been watching them for a while, there should be no issue when they take a sponsorship. I'll give you an example. I do sponsorships. I've done sponsorships with Beauty Pie. I've done sponsorships with Ana Luisa on a regular basis, several others, and I would never accept a sponsorship with a company or a brand that I was not already over the moon for. You know what I mean? Or I hadn't looked at their products, looked at what they were about, and was like, this is something I want to align myself with. In fact, when people get sponsorships, I personally want to watch it more, because I look at that and I'm like, the brand obviously really felt compelled to reach out to this person and be like, we want to work with you. And it's probably a brand that they love already. Like, why wouldn't I want to hunker down and watch that? I really don't understand the issue with sponsorships. I do understand that it spawns from, again, bigger creators, people who are or have abused that in the past. I mean, that sucks, but that's literally not anyone I watch, and it's not me. I think we should all want the people we watch to succeed and also to, you know, make money. Number 5, have you had an experience with a brand that left a bad taste in your mouth? Oh boy, I'm about to spill the tea. Okay. I have had a couple, but I have had one recently that was a roll doozy. And I am so outraged and so like grossed out by the interactions that I have no reservations about sharing it with you right now. Gather round, children, and grab your popcorn and your cocktails. Mama's got a story. So there is a brand, and the brand's name is Lily Silk. They are a very well-known company that makes silken products. And I've seen a lot of influencers that I trust and like work with them, and their stuff looked incredible. I actually owned a pair of their pajamas, and I liked them. I thought they were very luxurious. I thought they were comfortable. So I was like, you know, I think I do want to pursue a sponsorship. I feel like I know enough about the product and people I trust are working with them. I'm going to move forward. So anyway, I basically verbally or through email negotiated a sponsorship with them. However, I did not sign a contract. Not because I didn't want to. I was thinking I was going to. It was actually the holidays. It was a crazy time. It was around Christmas. I dragged my feet in getting back to them. And I finally was actually about to respond to their email in regard to signing the contract. And no joke, they emailed me that day and were like, we've tried to contact you a couple times. We haven't heard back from you. If we don't hear back from you, we are going to take legal action. Excuse me, what'd you say? I'm sorry, what legal action are you taking? I have not signed a contract. I was appalled with my coffee in the kitchen that morning. I was like, how dare you? No, but really, like, seriously, how dare you? Like, the audacity. Hell no, hell no. And so I composed an email. You know, I'm paraphrasing it, but I was basically like, I was about to email you my signed contract when I received this communication, and I will not be moving forward with any sponsorship with you. I said, I can't believe you would threaten legal action. That is outrageous. You have absolutely no leg to stand on, and please don't contact me again. And I received like 2 more emails from them, and I actually like blocked their address, but they keep coming back with like other addresses. It's wild. So after I wrote them that email, they came back and they were like, if we're not doing the sponsorship, we'd like our product back. Really? After threatening to basically, I guess, sue me, you'd like your worn pajamas back. But truly, I've never been asked to send back product. I mean, 1, that's insane, and 2, that's just gross. Are you kidding me? I'm not gonna get out of here. Get out of town. Then I blocked them again, and apparently it didn't matter because they created another email address, and they contacted me the other day and were like, hey, are you still interested in the sponsorship? Please respond. I'm like, I am literally going to throw myself out the window. What is even going on? Lily Silk is that's a no for me, dog. You're not going to Hollywood. Question number 6, how do you deal with negative comments? First of all, I actually have my friend Carly, who I mentioned before, check my social media. She checks it every day. I pay her to do this. And she basically goes into my Instagram and my YouTube, specifically in the morning before I wake up. And, you know, she gets rid of any like sideways or negative comments. So that right there off the bat is helpful. But, you know, there's still times, there's still like windows where I look and she hasn't looked, and you know, I see something shitty or nitpicky or negative. I always end up blocking on YouTube. It's called like hide user. There are a couple different functions you can use, but it all kind of like leads back to the same place. Whether you hide user, whether you block someone, they're blocked. My favorite thing to do is to respond and then hide them, because they still see the comment and they can respond, but I will never see them again, which is like pretty much my favorite thing I've ever heard of. Just like a nasty asshole like screaming into the wind and like no one can ever see them ever. Like, what's better than that? I just don't understand what people think they're doing, like what they think they're accomplishing with leaving negative comments. Like, you're not changing my mind. The content is already up. I am me. This is what I felt confident with. And I spent hours on this. This is highly intentional content. So if you have an issue with it, just like keep it in your head and move on, because nothing you have to say is going to change the fact that this content is up, and it's not going to change who I am. It really astounds me. Like, it truly flummoxes me why people feel the need to do that. Number 7, what's your biggest pet peeve when it comes to comments? Wow, I can only pick one. Most of the comments I receive are positive. I would say like 98.5%, if not more, of the comments I receive are positive. But I think you can understand that, like, even when you get something really nasty or negative, even though you've had all of this positivity, it just feels like shit. I mean, I have so many pet peeves when it comes to comments. I really can't with an I love you but. I mean, if you're gonna use an I love you but, you really, really wanna be an asshole. Like, I have that phrase blocked, I think, on my YouTube channel now. Also, talking like I'm not the person who literally receives the comments. Like, people who comment and are like, oh my God, did you see what she said? Or what is she wearing? Whatever, fill in the blank. I'm like, you know that I'm here, right? Like, this is literally my channel. Like, I'm the person controlling it, responding to it. So strange. Most of all, I really don't like comments that are veiled as constructive criticism. I think that is one of the biggest fallacies on YouTube. I've talked about this in other videos, so if you've seen them and I'm being repetitive, so sorry. There is never a moment when I'm asking for feedback on my channel, okay? And if there is, I will literally be like, hey, I'd love your feedback. And then that's when that happens. But other than that, you can assume that I'm not asking for feedback on any part of myself whatsoever. I really feel like a lot of people are trying to manipulate their shitty comments into constructive criticism, which could also be called unsolicited feedback. I love the people who are like, oh, just like glowing reviews for you. Like, that's all we can do? And it's like, yes, unless you have something supportive to write or nice, you can go away. And I don't know why that's weird or controversial. Like, yeah, but I just want to wrap up that whole section about comments by saying that I really honestly receive like the nicest comments, and I believe that I have one of the best communities on YouTube. So just want to get that out there. Number 8, what is your favorite part of being a content creator? I think for me, it's really the creative freedom. Like, I mean, there's so many great parts to it, but if I could only name one, that would be it. You know, I talked about how it's really a struggle living in New York City, especially being a performer, an actor living in New York City. It's like the shits a lot of the time, you know? And this has just like opened up a world of content creation and creativity, and the fact that I get to have a say in that and I get to really control all aspects of that, that is something that is so foreign to me as a theater performer. And I love it. In my moments I have where I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to film, or I don't want to edit, or, you know, whatever it is, I'm like, okay, Cate, you think back to all those terrible jobs that you had, and then you come back to me in a second. And I'm always like, okay, yep, heard, understood. This is pretty amazing compared to all the other jobs I've ever had. Point taken. I feel like I'm a little lit. Number 10, do you edit your own content? And if so, do you enjoy it? I do. I edit all of my own content. I have from day one. And I have to say, I don't love the process of editing. It's very, very tedious. And I feel like when I say that, people think, oh, I'm being down on myself about editing, or I think I'm not good at editing. Actually, like, I feel like it's something that I've become quite skilled at. But that doesn't mean that I enjoy the process. And so I like the finished product, but the process, like I said, can be very tedious. For my content, the style of my channel, some of my videos that I do are very comedic in nature. Even my beauty videos, I try to keep like very fast paced. I try not to have a lot of like space or pauses unless it makes sense for it to be there. So like I have a very specific editing style, and I don't know that I would ever, I don't know, I feel like it would change my channel if I gave my editing over to someone else, and I really don't see myself doing that. But, well, not but anything. I'll just be over here like tediously editing my content until the end of time. Number 11, where do you draw the line in regard to sharing on social media? It's such a strange thing to, you know, share parts of my life with people like you who, you know, I've never met. It's like a weird ass thing to do, and I love my community so much, but I feel like you do have to have like really clear boundaries that you are comfortable with. And I would say my boundary in terms of sharing is I just don't feel comfortable sharing anything about my relationships, like my personal relationships, just my private goings-ons with like my family, my friends, my partner. Those are for me. And so, and that's, again, that's no shade to people who are like getting in there and vlogging every part of their life and sharing and getting super vulnerable on camera and all that stuff. Like, I mean, do whatever you feel comfortable doing. That's just not something that I feel comfortable doing. I feel like there are things that I need to save for me and for the people that I have relationships with that I'm close to. Question number 12, name one thing you wish you knew when you were starting out. Wow. I mean, can I just say like everything? Is that an acceptable answer? Number 13, is there any change you'd like to make to your content in the future? You know, I don't know if there's like a huge drastic change. I have made some minor changes to my channel over the last year, and I actually made a video about that. I don't even know. Time has no meaning right now. I don't know when I made that video, but anyway, I talked about like just trying to mix up my content, not just do only beauty content, beauty reviews, things like that. More lifestyle stuff, more vlogging, yada shmada bada. And I think I've done that. I definitely want to do more of it. So that's probably my answer to this question. I want to do more vlogging. And I also want to do more character work. Like, you know, the Samantha videos from Sex and the City that I did, those were so much fun, and they brought so many other people over to my channel, people who probably wouldn't have come over. So I definitely want to do more things like that. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that in the future. Number 14, what company collab is your dream? Okay, there's a gnat. Oh my God, there's a gnat. Get the hell out of here. It's on my camera. Spring is sprung. Here we go. We're talking about gnats, we're talking about fruit flies, they're gonna be all up in my grill. It's not really something that like I sit around dreaming about. There's so many brands that I would love to work with, to do sponsorships with, but I don't know. I don't really have a dream to like create a makeup line or anything like that. Number 15 is what other creator do you admire / want to work with? I don't have a specific person that I can name in regard to this question, but what I can say is that I feel like I'm getting more and more selective about who I would want to align myself with. And I know that sounds a little bit strange, a little bit weird, but you know, you just don't know about things these days. If you accept someone on a surface level and you're like, cool, like let's do this thing, like let's promote each other, this is awesome. I've had a couple experiences where I've done that and I like didn't know enough about the person, and I've, you know, kind of found out some like troubling things about their politics, about yeah, just their beliefs and things that like absolutely do not align with me or my channel. That's not to say that I am not going to, obviously I'm doing a collab right now, but case in point, I know Sarah very, very well. I just feel like I really have to know someone, at least know someone kind of well to move forward with a collab with them, because you never know, you know what I mean? And I like I said, I have been burned a couple of times. So I really am trying to just like, if I do a collab, it's going to be with someone that I'm very close with on YouTube. I know that sounds like really limiting, but I don't know what to say. It is what it is. That's kind of where I'm at with things right now. Number 16, what kind of content do you hate? And hate is in giant capital letters. Okay, so there's not a lot of YouTube content that I can actually think, oh, I hate that. But I can tell you, and I'm not over here trying to hate on TikTok. I'm not, because listen, it's what's hot right now. It's what the kids are doing. And I'm trying to like stay on top of it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to poo-poo like new content that's getting created, new platforms. I think that's all really important. There are just a couple of types of TikTok videos that I'm like not into. I really don't like, I'm gonna sound elderly when I say this. I don't know what this is called, where there's like a robot voice that narrates everything. Like I'm not into the robots. Like, this is the new foundation I found. This is my favorite foundation. I know that serves a purpose, and I'm sure it's like the algorithm and tagging and I don't know, things I can't comprehend, but like I really, really don't like that, and I will click off of it every single time. Another thing I don't love is the whole like trend where it's like we're doing like the Macarena and then we're like pointing to like things and not speaking. I try to get into it. I like every time I try to like commit and I'm like, okay, I'm missing this. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna get it. And then I'm like, that was boring and I don't understand the point of that. Don't like that. And the third style of TikTok video I really don't get is when people are lip syncing to things. It's not even like, you know, it's not like necessarily singing. It's usually like an audio from like the show, or like take for instance, The Office, like some funny dialogue from The Office and the person is like lip syncing to it and like putting their own context to it. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be funny. I'm waiting for it. I'm gonna get it. And every time I watch those, I'm like, this is not funny and not interesting. Like, I don't understand. I love a lot of TikTok, and I think there's a lot of incredibly funny stuff on TikTok. And I think I actually probably kind of need to like branch out and maybe do TikTok. Not gonna do those things. Not so much into those. Oh my God, we're to the last question, and it is a question to end all questions. It is, have you ever had to deal with cancel culture? And if so, how? You know, cancel culture is a term that gets bandied about quite a bit. I feel like it definitely gets overused, and I think sometimes it gets misused. I feel like it's kind of like a vilification of a lot of things that sometimes are very valid. But it actually spurred on a conversation that I ended up having with my boyfriend Randy about it. And he said something that was so good. I was like, I'm never going to be able to say it better than that. So I actually had him write it down, and I'm gonna read it. He said, on a personal level, it comes down to whether or not you feel like the shitty things someone said or did outweighs what they've contributed to the world or you personally. I cancel people all the time. I don't do it publicly necessarily, but yeah, I mean, if a brand, for instance, is putting their money towards something that I feel like is super fucked up, like say, oh, I don't know, Vladimir Putin or Donald Trump, yeah, I'm not really gonna be into that. And once I hear about that, I'm not gonna put my money toward that. I'm not gonna purchase that. And as an influencer, I am not going to promote it. That is my prerogative. That is my choice. And we all have that choice. And I think we should exercise it. Now, I think where cancel culture, you know, gets really dicey is when we're talking about like this really intense mob mentality where people are like, trying to get people like taken down and like writing brands and really putting like a lot of, you know, exerted effort into negativity like that. That's a place I don't go. If we're talking specifically in terms of the beauty community, this industry is exploded. It has exploded. There's just endless products. There's too many good products, and there's too many brands that you could purchase from that actually stand behind things that aren't like wildly problematic, where I'm just like, there's no reason to purchase from brands that I'm gonna side eye. You know what I mean? Like that I don't feel good about. We all have the right to, you know, decide that we don't want to watch someone or purchase something if something doesn't align with what we believe and what we like, and that's okay. I don't really call that cancel culture. That's just like how it's pretty much always been. We get to decide what we get behind and what we don't. Again, I'm not gonna be out there like Gaston and Beauty and the Beast with a mob behind me and like a lit torch, like going to take down the beast. But yeah, I think everyone has a right to be like, I'm not down with that, and bye. Oh my God, I can't believe I got through the list of questions. I feel like I've really done something here. And I also feel like you've done something here if you actually stayed till the end. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And again, please go over and check out Sarah's channel. Check out her video. I'm gonna link all of that down below. This was a lot of fun. I love tag videos. I think it really helps to get to know the person that you're watching on a weekly basis and where they stand on things. And I also, again, think that being a content creator is like wildly misunderstood, and that completely makes sense. So hopefully videos like this are kind of like bringing light to some things that, you know, maybe were in the dark before. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you are new to my channel, I would love if you could hit that subscribe button, that like button, all the good stuff. And now I expect you to go over to Sarah's channel and watch her shit. You guys are the best. Please stay safe out there, and cheers till next time. Bye.